Hello everyone and welcome to the Beast Quest Series 16 retrospective video. I'm Adam and today we got another series where we're going to be going through one by one each beast and give my reviewed thoughts on them. And when I say reviewed, I mean I've already done a beast review on this series, same with every other series before and after it. And the retrospective is just an updated review because I haven't done a review on this series for a while and only just reread them. So at the moment we're on Series 16, The Siege of Gwildor. So if you've been on this channel for some time, you will know that my opinion on Series 16 has not been the best, to where I believe this is one of the worst series of Beast Quest on a Beast perspective. Story perspective, I'm not entirely sure because I don't really dabble in the story. So that is just like, I'll leave the story there. I just think it's alright, I guess. We'll stick to the beast because that's what I know the most about. But let's just go through each beast to know which beast we're talking about in this video. So, starting off, we got Styro the Snapping Brute, Ronak the Toxic Terror, Solix the Deadly Swarm, and Canis the Shadow Hound. So, with these four beasts here, this makes up the Series 16 beasts, and let's just say this is a batch of beasts. Yeah, I'll explain my issues with each beast along with the positives of each one by one, as I always do in each of my retrospectives. So let's start things off with Styro. Styro the Snapping Brute. The design is not really that creative, as it's just a giant lobster with almost nothing new added onto it to make it stand out. Abilities aren't anything special either, as there isn't much standing out except for the poisonous gas from the seaweed, but it's not really a good ability either, not really used that much in the book. The fight was good, with the fight going from a lighthouse to the ocean to an underwater cave and wrapping up back at the lighthouse, with the lighthouse falling on top of Styro, which I thought was alright, just a bunch of change of scenery. Other than that, it was just standard Tom on Beast battle. As for Styro's performance in Battle of the Beasts, he hasn't done great in New Generation or All Generation, and as for dying in round 1 for both of them, and as for Transformation Takedown, his battle was released on the same day I'm releasing this video, so without giving any spoilers away, I guess the question is, will history repeat itself? Ronak the Toxic Terror. The design's a little bit better than Styro's, but it's still not very good, as it's just the giant ram, but the armour around the hooves are a good touch. Abilities are not that special, except for the poisonous claws, but it's rather disappointing with the acid only being strong enough to kill crops. The fight felt rushed, with Ronak wreaking havoc, then getting defeated by the seaweed from Styro, and losing his horn when crashing to the ground in Battle of the In Battle of the Beasts, Ronak took part in 3 tournaments, them being New Generation, All Generation, and Transformation Takedown. In New Generation, he went against Plexor. All Generation, he went against Elko. And Transformation Takedown, most recent tournament, and I can't remember who he went against. Hold on. Oh, God. It's on the tip of my tongue. Went against... Who did Ronak go against? It wasn't... No, it wasn't Craigerson Kildor. It's one of the first battles. Equinus. He went against Equinus. And in all 3 of those tournaments, in all 3 of those battles, he got defeated, all in round 1. Rather easily, might I add. Solix the Deadly Swarm. The design is yet again a giant animal, but the colour makes it better than Styro and Ronak. But it is still kind of disappointing. The abilities are actually not that bad, with an overpowered ability like the Swarm ability. Solix is immediately better than Styro and Ronak. However, like with tradition when it comes to these beasts of Series 16, the Swarm ability isn't as good as it is with other Swarm beasts, so that's Kreta, Larnak, and even Devora and Velakra at this point. So overall, abilities are okay. The fight was also okay, starting in the Rainbow Jungle and moving to a cave where the beast made full use of her swarm ability by fixing by fixing herself together after getting a slash on her leg or underbelly, and ultimately fall into the sound of Ronak's horn, which had her lose control and concentration and lose her true form as well, and crumble to millions of ants. Battle of the Beast has been kind to Solix, making it to round 3 in New Generation, round 2 in All Generation, and despite losing in round 2, she still progressed under the control of Ferrok, the Iron Soldier, before getting killed by Griff the Feathered Fiend in round 4 of All Generation. In Insects Only, though, she died in round 2 in a rather slow-paced battle, and as for Transformation Takedown, as of the time I've released this video, which will be the 26th of January, the Solix's round 1 battle has not been released, and so with that, I can't comment on her performance in that battle at this time. Rounding up Series 16, we have yet another simple design from Canis the Shadowhound, but this one actually has some notable changes on it, like the tail having a pitchfork end, and towards the back of the flank here you can see some armor, which is an alright touch, but in my opinion still somehow gets but however it is still a larger animal with not many changes, but in my opinion it is still somehow the best design of the series. The abilities are to be expected, but with a shadow form being able to run through walls and use his shadow to attack other people by attacking their shadow, that is a good ability. The fight is also good as well, taking place in Gengtor, but also feeling a little bit rushed. However, having his main ability also exploiting his weakness with his shadow being able to get harmed from his opponent's shadow was, in my opinion, very well done. As for Battle of the Beast, in New Generation he made it to round 2 before dying to Sorex, I believe. No, not Sorex. No, okay, Vectrix. He made it to round 2 before dying to Vectrix. In All Generation, he died in round 1. Can't remember who to, but probably, I don't know, Lipida, maybe. And as for Transformation Takedown, his battle was released on the 25th of January. And as it's still a new battle, I'm not going to spoil it or comment on it as of this time. Overall, this series, in my opinion, it has the worst design of the entirety of Beast Quest, with every beast just being a big animal, with not much making them different from a regular animal, with the exception of a couple touches here and there. The abilities are also not that great either, probably being one of the worst batch of abilities in any season of Beast Quest, and the fights aren't that much better either, with most of them taking place in a good area like Gengtor, or areas that change throughout the fights, like in Styro and Solix. However, the actual battle, where it was Tom versus Beast, wasn't that impressive. Wasn't that impressive of any book, with Solix and Canis having the best fights for showing off the abilities that they had at their best. Other than that, that is pretty much all I can say regarding this series. So, to carry on tradition, in my opinion, Series 16 is still the worst series of Beast Quest, and that's probably going to stay that way for some time unless future season that's released has so many disappointing beasts to the point where it makes these guys look good. On to the ranking now. This is personally my opinion from least favourite to favourite, and starting off we have Ronak the Toxic Terror. Now, I did consider putting Ronak above 3rd place, but then I was just thinking, well, I'm going to compare abilities, and you got the Toxic Hooves, which are all right, but you kill crops, and that's it. The other one has an ability which also causes nausea, which I feel is probably more useful, as it can actually knock someone out rather than kill someone with that. So Ronak's abilities is ultimately what pulls him down. Plus his design being slightly better than only one other beast is not that great. However, and the fight was rushed to the point I could barely remember any of it. 3rd place we have Styro the Snapping Brute. As I said, the poisonous seaweed, or noxious seaweed, is the only thing saving Styro from being last place. And like with Ronak, not that great of a reputation in Battle of the Beasts. Whether that would change in Transformation Takedown, yet to be confirmed, or yet to be spoken about, let's say. And other than that, the fight is also something that's better in Styra than it is in Ronak because it changes location a lot. However, though, design is what pulls it down because it is just a giant lobster. Third place, my favorite actually has changed this time. No, second place, my favorite has actually changed. It is now Canis the Shadowhound. And what kind of pulls Canis down, in my opinion, now is, well, the designs are relatively okay. Canis and Solix here have relatively equal designs, in my opinion. Whilst Canis, I believe, is slightly better, what pulls Canis down is actually the fight, where his fight was in a good location and probably well done using the shadow ability. Speaking of which, abilities are alright. What pulls him down is that it was only in that one location. And then you also move on to Battle of the Beasts, where his reputation is not as good as Solix, which considering how many tournaments I've done with Canis in, it's not that great. Whether his transformation takedown performance will be a good one or not, can't comment on that because relatively new video, but I can't imagine Canis making it far in transformation takedown at all. If he makes it to round 2, I guess he's lucky, but if he makes it any further than that, this is not luck. This is something's wrong here if Canis makes it to round 3. And finally, my favourite beast of Series 16 for now is Solix the Deadly Swarm. And despite having matching designs with Canis, in my opinion, and abilities also used quite well compared with Canis as well, so relatively even, and the fight, action-wise, not as good as Canis, but location-wise is better because of the changes of environment. She does use her abilities quite well. Then moving on to Battle of the Beast, which sets her apart from Canis. In New Generation, she made it further than Canis. In All Generations, she also made it further than Canis. And in Insects Only, she made it to round 2, which Canis wasn't even allowed in that tournament. As for Transformation Takedown, her battle has not yet been released as of the time I'm recording this, so I'm not going to comment on that. But we got a few more days until her battle gets released, which I will say, not going to give anything away, was a great battle in my opinion. And that's one of the few times I'm actually going to say Solix had a great battle. Overall though, Series 16, not a great series in my opinion, and it's still my least favourite. It seems to be a running trend with things I happen to watch or like, because I watch Hell's Kitchen USA a lot, and one of the worst seasons of Hell's Kitchen is actually Series 16. So I don't know if it's just a running trend, but yeah, Series 16 doesn't seem to any program or book series that has 16 seasons or more. The 16th season is never the good one. I will go and double check if Series 16 of The Simpsons is good or bad. Most likely bad. But yeah, Series 16, not great in my opinion. Probably going to stay my least favourite for quite a while at this point. And with that, that's all for this time. That is my retrospective of Series 16. Most of it's negative. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down the corner below. I forgot that I'm not going to say that part in the outro anymore, and I'll see you next time.